Hello everyone, welcome to Fireside Chat with Shaifali Season 2. As I always mention, the year 2022 marks the 70th anniversary of the establishment of Indo-Japan diplomatic relationship. The Indo-Japan Business Council has decided to host a series of events that includes business sessions, lectures, cultural programs, and more to celebrate this momentous year. Let us work together to forge a vibrant India-Japan relationship for future generations. For more details, please visit our official website www.ijbc.org. Moving forward to my today's session, actually I'm very excited because this is the first time I'm hosting a couple to my show. Okay, so Mr. Rohan Patil and Ms. Priyanka Patil. Let me introduce them a little bit. Rohan is a mechanical engineer and has completed Masters of Technology Management from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. In order to fulfill his childhood dream of being able to work in automotive industry in Japan, he came to Osaka. Whereas Priyanka is an artist who completed her Masters in Fine Arts from JJ School of Art, Mumbai. She has joined Rohan to support his dream and also to explore the magnificent art and culture of Japan. Both Rohan and Priyanka are currently they are studying Japanese language in Osaka and plan to work in Japan after completing their language studies. And if I'm not wrong, they recently has cleared JLPT N2, and I got a call from them that we have cleared N2. So very congratulations to them. So I'm pleased to welcome Rohan and Priyanka to Fireside Chat with Shaifali. Welcome, Rohan and Priyanka.
Hi, Shaifali. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking out time and being with me for this Fireside session.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
So moving ahead with my, as usual, the questions, the fireside questions. I would like to know how you developed the love for Japan. I'll start with Rohan from you first.
Yeah. So in everybody's life, there are some things like you like them for maybe you just like them. So there is no definite answer of, kind of liking them. So since childhood, Japan was something like that for me. And to be precise, I have always been fond of the Japanese automotive industry since childhood. So anything which moves, anything which has wheels has always fascinated me. And the Japanese technologies have always been of interest to me. So Japan interest had already started in childhood, but then I could not find my, a concrete path to kind of reach Japan. And that is how bits and bytes and step by step I started my approach towards Japan, and which has I pursued it with a lot of perseverance. There were a lot of ups and downs, but finally we could land in Japan, and today we are here in Osaka.
Sure. And Priyanka, when you developed this love for Japan, whether it was previously you met your soulmate or it's after meeting Rohan?
Actually, definitely it was after meeting Rohan. Like the story starts like he asked me, "Will you come with me to Japan before getting married?" So I was like, okay, fine. Like after marriage, I'll have to start my Japanese learning. So from that year, like 4 years before, we started this Japanese learning sessions. Like in India, we completed our 2 levels, like N5 and N4. We had joined our classes in Nagpur. And after that, during pandemic, we like our complete classes were stopped. There was no online sessions at all. So we were like searching like what should we do. So we found this our school which we are enrolled now. So once we understood their admission process and all, then we came here.
Yeah.
So Rohan, it was a criteria for marriage. If you want to come to with me Japan, then only I'll marry.
Kind of. But yes, I'm really fortunate that she accommodated my request, because it's not easy to learn a language, and especially Japanese language, where you have different kinds of scripts, different kind of grammar, different kinds of words, kanjis, etc. So it's not like any other language. It's a little tricky language, and it's a thing that not everybody can do. So I'm really grateful to her that she initiated and she has come till end right now.
And in fact, Japanese is one of the toughest language, and beside that, learning a language itself is a tough decision to take, because it's individual's opinion to learn or not, whether it's some regional language, Indian regional language, or some foreign language. So hats off to you both that you both are going ahead with your dream.
Thank you so much.
So that is the reason you started learning language, because you wanted to go to Japan, or you work in certain companies like, if I'm not wrong, Mitsubishi, Toyota. So you got inspiration from that level?
Yeah. So it started with the dream that I could be able to work in Japan. So that dream was initiated when I was in maybe in 8th, 9th, 10th standard and all. And I was fortunate to do my first job with Toyota in Bangalore. So that again kind of strengthened my dream, because I could get an opportunity to be surrounded by a few Japanese people in my company. So that has always fueled my aspirations. And I think that was a time when I started to look at it more seriously. And when I was doing my master's, I enrolled in a language school in Bangalore. But again, because of my master's studies, I could not have more dedication towards it. But yeah, again, then when I went to Mercedes-Benz, I could see that having a foreign language skill is always beneficial. Then why not take my interest forward, was what I thought. And then, yes, I started to pursue it again.
And do you receive any sort of help while working in Toyota for your Japanese language? Because when I was working in a Japanese language and I told them that I'm started learning Japanese language, they every now and then, or day after tomorrow, or day after, they come with some of the books and, okay, take this, now learn from this book also.
Yeah. So there were a few Japanese people whom I used to interact, and that time I could not, kind of clearly crystallize my thoughts that, okay, I want to learn a language. But then I think that was a time when I was more receptive to things. I was more open to get more about Japan. So I could not actually express that I want to go to Japan, but in how somehow I got more, I was at the receiving end to get more of Japanese and more of the things that Japanese people do through many people who I was surrounded by.
And Priyanka, how you started learning Japanese language?
Like after marriage, we were in Bangalore, and our institute was like very near to the place we used to live.
The reason we were staying, I was staying 32 kilometers away from my company in Bangalore, just imagine.
Wow.
And the reason was that to be close to my Japanese language institute, so that but the classes were mainly on weekends, but still I chose to be close to the institute and also close to my college in Bangalore, Indian Institute of Science. So yeah, so maybe she'll continue and she'll tell her story, how she began her Japanese.
So it was like, I was like, okay, it's just a language, right? You just go, you just learn that some words and all the grammar thing, and but it was so painful. I was like literally crying initially, like, what the hell is this?
So it was like we were newly married just 1 month after the marriage, and I used to come home from office hoping that, we will have tea together, and she was crying with the book in her hand. So
it was a horrible experience.
They had told, it's okay, relax, do it later. Let's not, kind of get too much into this.
Yeah, actually, starting with hiragana, then katakana, and then coming to grammar portion, it's very difficult to cope up with that.
Yeah.
Means you really, I can understand your situation.
I remember now. I just imagine like how I reached till end. Yes, but
Yeah.
you just need to start and be there.
Yeah.
That is the
Consistently.
trick, actually.
Mhm.
Sure. So in Bangalore, you studied till 2 level.
No, actually, in Bangalore, we just joined the class and just left it. Didn't took that seriously. Then in Nagpur, we actually were pretty serious. We enrolled again. We again started with N5. So in Nagpur, we gave N5 and N4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Nagpur, you completed your N4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like between Nagpur and Bangalore, it was again 1 year. So you can just say that in Bangalore, it was a trailer of Japanese.
Just 2 months. Yeah.
Then there was a big gap of
Yeah.
8 to 9 months. And then, okay, we'll have to do it. That's
Yeah.
why we joined it again in Nagpur.
Yeah. So this brings us to one thing that, Japanese was always becoming a second option. It was like, okay, we have to do it. We want to do it. We dream of doing it. But then maybe it is a job or, maybe some other priorities that resulted in Japanese being the second or third or fourth option. So that has happened with us also. And I think many of the students or many of the people who are watching this, maybe this could be a similar story. So that's okay. That's perfectly normal. Still, I just want to say that consistently you can, kind of go this way. It's normal to kind of have a gap and then still continue doing your language studies. So that's perfectly fine. It's a normal case.
But it's really very inspiring being a professional. And after being married also, you chose to stick to that dream and learning a language, because it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of time as well, patience as well. So you both done it, and in fact you are going ahead. So it's really inspiring, and I wish a lot of people see this interview and they come forward to learn the language and live their actually dream.
Yeah, hope so.
So you studied language in Bangalore and then Nagpur, and then you shifted to Japan. So how different it is learning a language, Japanese language, in Japan and in India?
Maybe Priyanka can answer this very well.
In India, yeah, definitely we learn Japanese in India. Maybe in initial stages, you need that explanation to be in our own language. But as we develop, go in higher levels, so only the explanation doesn't matter. Its application should also be there. So in Osaka, the language school which we are studying, it gave us a platform, an environment where, obviously it is in Japan, so it's like you get a Japanese environment. You, even if you go for some shopping, some grocery shopping, you have to deal them in Japanese. Not like in back in India, if you are learning a Japanese, it becomes only a classroom thing. But here it is like daily life, daily activities are to be dealt with in Japanese. So this is a big difference. And coming to the teaching part in India, teaching is like little bit boring kind of than what we experienced with the Japanese teachers. So I really enjoyed learning here.
Yeah. So I just want to add that it's like a lot of subconscious learning also happens here. So it's like you hear something, you see something, you try to read something, and it's kind of a survival thing also. So if you go to any shop and if you really want something, for example, if you want a medicine, so you will have to search it somehow and you will have to buy it. Otherwise, you will have to suffer. So it's like you have to do it, and you automatically you are in a position to kind of put in that effort and do that homework and that creates an impact that you remember that thing very well. So I remember going to a medical shop wherein I wanted to buy a medicine. So I really remember the name of the medicine right now, because I really literally searched that medicine on Google then and there in the shop itself, and got it purchased. So so things like this, which are kind of really important in the daily life, are being learned here subconsciously. So you have not you did not sit there to you do not go there to learn what this medicine is called in Japanese. You have gone there to buy a medicine, but then that has helped you to learn the name of the medicine. So that is how things are here in our school. So in this environment, yeah.
Sure. And in Japan, there must be some different style of teaching, which you must have noticed. Or while in India, there's a different style of teaching. So what you would recommend, not as a student only, but as a means you want to tell to teachers of India that you should follow this pattern also for teaching, so that student will be able to learn or grab the language in a more better way, efficient way.
Yeah. So I think we can try to imagine it as if we were in class first or second standard in school. So just try to imagine that scenario and how those teachers used to interact with you. So it's like daily homeworks, daily tests, explaining to you things in a very, 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 very simple manner, with the help of few drawings, with the help of few pictures, and kind of acting something in the class, or creating some kind of a drama or skit. So all these things which are kind of given to a first or second standard kind of kid, so maybe 5-6 years old person, that helps him or her to understand things in a very simple manner. So those kind of things are actually applied here. So
Yes.
we being in our early 30s, we somehow in the starting we felt, okay, what is this, are we kids? But then if you look back and connect the dots, that has actually helped us. For example, if there is a word of which means, okay, something is dropping, so the teacher would literally drop something to kind of explain us, okay, this is called as this. Then there are transitive words and intransitive verbs in Japanese. So it's like when a person do something, that is a transitive, and vice versa. So maybe it's like they will kind of explain, okay, I am doing it, then this verb is called as this. Then if it is happening on its own, then it's called as XYZ. So the kind of involvement the teacher puts in, it's very similar to a kindergarten or first or second standard person. It involved a lot of pictures and stories.
The grammar
Then
patterns, different kinds of grammar patterns, they will explain with lot of examples. Like with daily life situations, of course, not just a random bookish kind of thing, but the daily life. So that actually helps us a lot to remember and to relate. Okay, so this is the grammar pattern which is to be used like in this situation. Not everywhere this grammar can be used. So other thing is that the curriculum which the school had created, like every day there was test. Every day we used to have 5-minute test, which actually helped us a lot to study on a regular basis, not just 1 month before JLPT. So so daily exams, 5-minute test, daily homework, and what they used to teach daily grammar, then this bumpo, kanji, and dokkai chokkai, like daily. We used to have those classes daily. Like in India, it was like only grammar. I think kanjis we used to do it by our own self.
Generally.
They tell kanji, they stroke once and then you practice at home.
So kanji, even we felt like kanji we can do it by our own self, but no, it was not an option. They used to take it daily. So they used to read those words, ask us to read it, ask us to do all the exercise given in the book. So this all small things, even mock test, 2-3 mock tests we used to have, monthly test. So it was a kind of a revision thing, so which helped us a lot to grasp this language in a very short time.
Yeah. And to keep us on track, there used to be tests which would determine our future class. So it's like, if you do well in maybe the month of January test, then you in the month of February you will be promoted to a higher class. So that that creates a lot of pressure. So first 3 months we were literally a lot of pressure. Okay, what is happening? Daily tests, daily homework. So what is this? But then we understood that is essential. That lays a very concrete foundation to kind of grasp things and kind of move ahead. So that has actually helped us to come till end. To if you look back now, that time we thought, oh no, it's torture. But then if you look back, that has actually helped us.
Yeah. I think in India also such class like this curriculum should be followed. Maybe like the quantity of test, I guess it's little bit lower in India. Maybe the reasons may be different. I don't know.
Yeah, because I also prefer that some story writing or a story orientation, stage drama should be included in the curriculum activity, because it not only help to grace the language, learn the language, but also it will help to develop the personality also.
Yes.
So I think it should be included. Maybe some of the institution adopting that culture, but most of the institute which I know, they are still way behind that.
Yeah.
So, even there was some extracurricular activities like they used to ask us to write essays, which we call sakubun, and also some kaiwa conversation test kind of a thing, but not that much serious. But it was very interesting. Like our own batch students used to interact each other in Japanese, and then our sensei would teach us like this should be avoided, this should be done, like depending upon the kaiwas.
Yeah.
So moving forward, what was your first experience when you landed in Japan? Was it exactly the same which you have expected, or it was different?
Okay, so maybe in my case, it was the second time for me in Japan, because when I was doing my master's, I had an opportunity to come here as an exchange student for a week. But then for Priyanka, it was the first time. So maybe she will tell her our first shopping experience or something.
Okay. So when we actually came to Japan, initially we were quarantined for 15 days. So after quarantine period, our school took us to our dormitory. Actually, school helped us a lot in the basic setup. We didn't have to actually do the initial burden that was taken care by school. So the shocking thing was like when we step out for first shopping, like going and buying some eggs, some necessary like things for our first day, like detergent and eggs, and we were like, what the hell, how costly these things are. Like we returned back buying nothing.
Yeah,
literally
we just bought cooking oil, eggs, and laundry detergent. That's all. We could not buy fruits, we could not buy vegetables, because that is our thinking, right? I mean, generally we think okay, we just try to calculate in our Indian money. So if we see maybe 200 rupees for a single small apple, then we'll think again. Then we will say, okay, let's avoid it. Maybe today it's costly and tomorrow we'll come and maybe tomorrow we'll buy.
But then so scared.
We kind of we were not in that mindset to accept, okay, things are costly here.
So next day my friend came who was like in Osaka like for many years. So she came, she took us to that superstore and she explained like, see, these rates are reasonable, you can buy them.
You
These
will
are
not
that
find cheaper
costly.
than this.
You
So we
won't.
were happy.
And she explained various things like this is called this in Japanese, with like for ginger, garlic, and all. So these are the best, and different names were there, which is in Japanese, and we couldn't identify. Okay, this is this, this is that.
Yeah. So it's all written in Japanese, and so yeah, for a first comer, first day it will be a little difficult because he will have to read kanji, hiragana, katakana all mixed, and every time he will have to kind of pull up his phone, Google Translate, and see then. So yeah, so but then fortunately Priyanka's friend, she stays here with her husband, and she was we are thankful that she came down for us to kind of console us that it's okay, it's not it's not that bad, it is how it should be, don't worry. And then we were like, okay. So that day we did our shopping. Otherwise, the first day we came home, we had brought some dal and rice from home. We just made khichdi and slept off. We didn't do anything else.
We didn't dare anything to buy anything new.
Yeah.
So anything would you like to tell to the audience who are watching this interview or going to watch this interview from the perspective of your first experience in Japan, from language perspective, from job perspective, learning perspective, as a student, anything?
Yeah. So maybe the first time comers, maybe we would like to say that don't be afraid of looking at the costs. It's kind of it appears to be costly, but then that is how things are there. So maybe don't be afraid to shell out 200, maybe like 140 rupees or something for 10 eggs. So it's a very natural thing here, and try to be so one way to avoid this could be interacting with a lot of people here, maybe Indian people who are already staying here, going with them for the initial setup. So actually it's very difficult to kind of have the setup initially done if you are alone. We do not know that there are 100 yen shops here. There are 100 yen shops which have almost everything that you need to set up a house. So the kitchen utensils, from kitchen utensils to kind of anything you say. So it's till curtains. So you can have something of that sort from an 100 yen shop. So one who knows 100 yen shop, then maybe his life would become easy. But till then, he'll have to struggle. If he goes to any other shop, he will see the prices, and then maybe he'll think, okay, yeah, I don't have that kind of cash or that amount of money. So it's okay to get initially confused, and that time you can just relax and then maybe catch hold of somebody who has been living here and kind of seek his advice to buy and get the initial setup done. So that is the thing we would recommend to first time comers. On the language front, we would recommend that try to exploit this or try to explore this opportunity as much as possible. So don't be confined to the classroom doors. Maybe doing part-time job or doing grocery shopping, utilize that time also to learn what is called for example, if you say turmeric, so what is turmeric called in Japanese? So those kind of stuff. So there is learning opportunity every time, every second. So you just have to be aware and conscious that, okay, now I can, kind of search this kanji, and then you kind of relate. So kanji is the best way to learn kanjis is like you have to relate and you have to learn it through words. So individual kanjis, you cannot, you will just remember the individual kanji, but then the application or the how it, becomes a word when two kanjis are combined. So those kind of things you will learn better when you try to look around and look how they are written in signboards or maybe traffic signals.
While traveling, you got to know many names of stations, and all the station names are written in kanji. So you can memorize them. Yeah.
So those are all opportunities to kind of learn how the language is being displayed everywhere around you. and kind of have a grip of the language more by utilizing these learning opportunities. So that is what we would like to say on the language front. And I think before anybody is trying to kind of planning to kind of go to Japan or moving abroad for studies, so I think the foundation of it is being laid in India, where we always hear that there are 1 million jobs in Japan, or maybe XYZ jobs in Japan. So I just want to kind of add one more clause to it. So do not just look at the quantity of the jobs, always also try to have a look at the quality of the job. So if somebody is saying that I have 1 million jobs with me, then just kind of try to ask them, okay, if there are 1 million jobs, so what kind of 1 million jobs are there? So it should not be that you are working on a construction site, or maybe you're just working on some XYZ thing. So anybody
whether it matches your interest or not.
Yeah.
You just
So
research
anybody
it.
who is trying to look a career, I would recommend him or her to look at the quality of the jobs as well. And if you look at the quality, also look at how the career is kind of flowing, or
What will be its
the
career
career prospect.
trajectory?
So all these things, for all these things, you would need networking. So the first step one would be networking. Then step two would be identifying a job, and step three would be understanding how the career trajectory is of the people who are kind of going into that field. So I think these three things are very essential, because I see a lot of people today who are just doing the step one. They are just kind of networking, or just saying, okay, there is a job in Japan, that's all, and I will learn the language, go there, and you take that opportunity and do my job. But then one has to also see what kind of job is that, what is the kind of salary, or what is the kind of financial outcome that he or she is getting from this job, and how sustainable is that job for him or her in his or her long run. So I think these are the checks that one has to kind of take into account.
Sure. And I think it's very important for people who aspire to go to Japan, and not only in Japan, to some other country as well.
Exactly.
It's a big decision, and involves if you are on scholarship, or the studies you are going to take is fully funded, self-funded, if I can say. So
Yeah.
it involves a lot of financial in that. So it's very important to check all these things.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. So one good thing, sorry. Yeah.
No, please go ahead.
Yeah, so one good thing here is that if you come as a student here, by law, you're allowed to work for around 28 hours per week as a part-time guy. So we were also working. So our studies is a self-funded thing. So we used to work part-time. So actually today was my last day at my part-time. We used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, both of us, and our part-time was around 6 to 8 every day, including weekends. And it was a typical cleaning job. So we used to do what we call in Hindi jhadu pocha, and vacuuming of theaters. But we enjoyed, that was the gym for us, early morning workout. And from there, we used to go to our institute, do our classes, then come back, then maybe cook, get ready. So this is a very typical routine of everybody here. So initially, anybody who comes from India or some other country, maybe it's a little it may seem a little difficult or different for him or her, but I think once you step into it, and personally when I was also kind of stepping into it, I thought, okay, what am I doing here, why cleaning job, maybe some other job, but then it's very natural and it's very normal. So one needs to understand here that there is no small thing or big thing, kind of in the kind of thing you're doing just to make your daily expenses happen. It's okay to do a cleaning job, or maybe some other job who if somebody is
like
getting
doing a part-time thing here is a very normal.
Yeah.
Like in Japan, people I guess start doing part-time from age of 16 to 17, like very early. And it's like they become very independent, that's why.
Yeah.
Financially at least.
I think this is the concept which India or Indian people need to understand, that part-time it's very normal, and it's add the some skills in your personality, any type of this part-time job, and the mindset has to be changed.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly. Yeah.
exactly.
So okay, so how was your experience as a student in Japan? Because you studied in India, you did your BTech. Priyanka, you did your master's, bachelor's in fine arts. So how was your experience in Japan? Means what sort of treatment you got, or I won't say that some special treatment you have been you have there, but as a student, what was your experience?
Yeah. So when we came here and when we in our initial school days, I'll say my thing first, then maybe Priyanka can add. So I personally, so initially we were in different classes. So Priyanka was in a different class, I was in a different classroom. And everybody around me was pretty young. They were like maybe in their early 20s and I'm in my early 30s. So it was always, initially it was always, I should have come a little early here. Am I the odd guy here or something like that? So initially couple of months I was thinking that way, but it was not that case. It was like, it's okay, everybody is similar. And there was, kind of a similar treatment from the teachers, from the other students, from the colleagues, and they being from different countries, we get to see ki there are a lot of things common. So humans are very same. So you go anywhere in the world, so they have everybody wants to be happy, everybody wants to kind of have something good. So these things you learn when you see different kind of people. You see Philippine guys, you see Vietnam guys, then you see Mongolia guys. So their thinking process is very similar. I think we are just divided by borders and divided by language, but then internally we are all similar. So that adds to the kind of that is a bonus of being able to study here. So it's a bonus point. We did not pay for it. We are getting it just because we are here. So that has really added to our friend circle. We have Vietnam guys, we have Mongolia, girls from Mongolia, then of course Indians. So that creates a lot of connect between us. So that is one very good point that we have observed. And apart from learning and grasping language, I initially thought, okay, yeah, I will be slow. Okay, these guys are young, maybe they would. But then I was comfortable. Thankfully, if you pay attention in the class, I think it's not a very big deal because they make it really easy for you. They make it really convenient, and we say in Japanese wakari yasui, so very easy to understand. So that creates a lot of impact, and we can actually recollect the images of the teachers doing some kind of actions, drawing some figures on the board when we try to recollect the grammar or words or something. So that has always been a very fascinating and learning enriching experience. And when it comes to moving towards higher classes, as Priyanka told initially, the most of the teaching becomes more into Japanese language. So it's like initially it was Japanese only, but then it was more of a okay level type that. But it becomes more difficult, and the teachers would write kanjis deliberately on the board, not hiragana, in order to make you kind of push yourself to harder to understand and grasp it. So I think the way or the style of the teachers here is very good. And once you are in the lower classes, and your journey to the higher classes becomes very easy when you are kind of consistently putting in efforts. Yeah.
Like as a student, when you enter in Japan, you get to see Japan in a very mild way. Maybe as a working individual, maybe Japan experience would have been a different thing.
Yeah.
As a student, you see all good things, all beautiful things. But because you are on a receiving end, so everybody will help you out. Okay, you are a ryugak say this ka, then blah blah blah, this take that and all. They will be kind to you. And even if you go to some government offices and all, you have to do your that residence card thing and all. So whatever the government things also, they will help you because you are a foreign student. They will explain you in a very simple thing. But I think if we were as a working professional, I guess things are different.
Yeah, because we have heard similar stories. So because Priyanka's friend and she has a family here and they have been living here as employees. So I think they're like a little hectic compared to what we have right now. So I think we would also be entering that situation. Yeah, so it depends upon what you are. If you're a student here, then maybe you will have a different kind of scenario. But then obviously in India also, if you become an employee, you will have a very hectic life. And similar thing is here also. But yeah, so these are all kind of the way
pros and cons are
the
there.
things would flourish for anybody who is trying to chalk his or her dream in Japan.
Sure. So, as a student, what additional you have explored in Japan, apart from tours and travels in Japan? Because obviously, if you are in Japan or some other country as well, then definitely people would like to explore that country. But additional to that, what additional thing you explore there?
Maybe some different food and
I think the first one would be being able to fund your studies. So it's a very natural thing here, but when you see it from the lens of an Indian parent or Indian family, it's very different, because we see kids here who are like 21 or 22. We see him or her working all the night because he has to give his or her a tuition fee the coming month. So this is the kind of dedication that we see in people here, because they are so determined. Okay, no, I will not take money from my home, but I will pay it on my own. So this is the voice of students who are like 18, 19, 20, 21, which is very rare in India. So I think this is a very big learning for us, and this has actually motivated us also to kind of push ourselves also to do a part-time job and kind of become more financially independent. So this is, I think, a very, very, because we see literally when we see them, it's like they are so dedicated there, and it's not only that they are kind of doing this for the current language studies. They have a lot of plan ahead. So they have they want to go to maybe some engineering course or something like that, and they have selected one university. They know what the fees is of that university, what that course costs, and they are kind of back planning that, okay, today I need to make this money, also my studies, and then I want to enter that Daigaku or university. So things like that, people like this really motivate you. I think this is something which we wouldn't have experienced if we were in India.
Yeah, this is the mindset which I personally would like to be changed in Indians, because some are changing, some are still with that following that legacy that my child should I'll be able to provide the studies till graduation or post graduation, and after that that child will see. Or sometimes it also happened that the child got the job, a good job, I can say a decent job, but then to the expectation of package is so much high that they don't see their own ability if they are actually able to get that particular package or not. And after that they just give up everything. Okay, this is not my sort of job, or I'm not getting this sort of package. Why should I do that job? So I think at least start from somewhere, forget about that mindset. Prove yourself, definitely you will get some better package.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. So one thing more, like this year India and Japan are celebrating their 70th Indo-Japanese diplomatic relationship. So as a student, what you would like to add on from which I can say the cordial relationship can be developed. Obviously we are having very good relationship, diplomatic relationship, but apart from that, what is your opinion? We should do this thing or we can do that thing, so there'll be additional student exchange, or business can be flourished, can be helpful. So what is your opinion on that?
Yeah. So I think whatever limited knowledge I personally have of kind of looking into the situation in Japan and the related people in India, we think that the people who are in Japan are things are very scattered. So it's like uh, things could be channelized functionally. For example, maybe the IT guys, or maybe the manufacturing guys, or maybe the research people, or maybe the higher officials. So it's like we can try to have them connected into groups or categorized into groups, led by a respective member of that group, maybe an IT group led by some IT authority, and then maybe the manufacturing group led by the manufacturing authorities, or something like that, which would create kind of many networking opportunities. So it's like in order to have a better networking, one should also have a destination to go. Like, so if somebody enters directly, okay, then he or she would be confused in this scattered network whom to approach for not for a job. I don't mean you should network for a job, but then you should also network to understand that person's career trajectory also. So you should be networking to understand how he came here, and how that person would guide him or her in return. So I think for networking it is very essential to have peer groups who are dedicated. So one thing which has really been not very prominent is art and cultural groups. So I think if we say Japan, it is always engineers. And when we say engineers, it is always mechanical or electrical or something like that, or design. Mechanical is equal to design, then computers is equal to coding, and then something like that. So I think these are the typical things which need to be kind of retuned. So maybe the design can be retained, but then it's not only that mechanical is only design. Then maybe we can do product planning, or maybe marketing or something like that. So we can actually create a network of more cross-functional people, and who are willing to kind of provide the initial hand holding to people who are kind of entering into the Japan job market, or the Japan universities for studies. And I think the best way to do this could be, as we are also, as you have also mentioned, that we are creating a directory of people. Then maybe we can always pull out or look for people who are like-minded, who have similar interests, and then maybe conducting small workshops, or maybe having their time slot booked for maybe a kind of advice session or something like that. So it's like connecting the dots. I think currently we also face a lot of difficulty when we came here to network with people of similar interest. So if there are kind of group together, or maybe there is a common platform to kind of approach them in a professional and sophisticated manner, then that could be a win-win situation for both. It's not only that we are required, that maybe the Japanese counterparts would also be requiring good talent and good honest people to be willing to work for them. So I think it's a win-win situation for both.
Sure. And Priyanka, since you are an artist, so Japan is famous for that as well, for holding or going ahead with its legacy, its heritage. And India is also known, originally I can say it's known for its wide heritage. So from that point of view, what you would like to say? Because
like I think more maybe because of this pandemic, all the cultural events must have stopped, or they must have postponed. But I guess recently I saw that some Shivaji Jayanti was organized between India and like in Japan. So such kind of cultural as like cultural events should be conducted more. Like recently, like every year we have this Konichiwa Pune. Even in Bangalore, there was one
Japan Habba.
Japan Habba. So such kind of events, I guess, should be there in Japan as well. Like of Indian, like Indian culture should be introduced them as well. Like because India is such a big country, and it has so many varieties, so many traditions. So this huge, like what do you say, a rich heritage, like a rich resource should be introduced to Japan. Like maybe because of this, something new and vibrant can be developed. Definitely, I think so.
Sure. And talking about your paintings, how you studied bachelor's and then master's in India in fine arts, and then you moved to Japan learning language. But I got to know that you participated in exhibitions as well. So how you got the chance to exhibit your paintings over there?
Yeah, so actually, when I came here in Japan, I continued my painting. Like I used to draw and paint whatever attracts me, like the daily life in Japan, the traveling, some daily activities. Like every morning we used to go for part time. So during at that time, on that platform, one combini was there, Lawson was there,
Convenience store.
and that one of the worker used to be there on time, like the time we used to be on that station. So she was always used to open the store. So it was like a kind of connection. So I painted that. Then some other daily life events, some beautiful architecture, whatever I come across. So I used to post them on Instagram, and like once I had started writing in Japanese also. So I used to tag it in Japanese, like art in Osaka, Osaka artisto and all. So one of the company approached me through Instagram, like here it is Serendius. So they approached me that we actually collaborate with artists and give them platform to exhibit their work. So I was very interested. So I joined them, and they organized an exhibition with some other artists. Obviously, they are Japanese. So it was in Tokyo, but because of this pandemic, we couldn't be there like physically. But yeah, they shared us the images and the videos. Maybe in future we could be get a chance to be in Tokyo.
I'm sure, and all the best for that. But how was the experience you got from that company, that you got the opportunity, and also how was the feedback? I mean, it was pandemic, you were not there physically, but you must have received some sort of response from the company who has exhibited your paintings.
Actually, to be very true, it was because it was a pandemic. I guess it was little bit restricted. I guess the visitors were less and all, and I seriously don't have much information about it. Sorry. Yeah.
Actually, the timing became a little bad because I think till December end it was all okay, and suddenly the cases rose here in January start. Yeah, in January start the cases were rising. We had already booked our tickets to go to Japan, to go to Tokyo, but then we had to cancel because of the travel restrictions. So which create a kind of impact on the visitors and the spectators. But then whatever we could hear and whatever feedback what we received from Serendes, that they were happy to host us. Then they were regularly sending us photographs and videos of how the painting is looking at the event, and we were also happy to have similar videos from other artists. So we used to see status of other artists who were tagging her work on their status. So that also kind of
It
encouraged
was
us.
all, I guess it was all online thing.
Yeah, it was more of an online. So to be true, we were not there physically, but
Yeah.
whatever we could observe on the online media, that we were
like
happy.
for an exhibition, it was the more interaction is when you go there, you actually face the artist and their artworks, you go to converse. But like
Yeah.
this is a drawback actually to have this because of this pandemic.
Mhm.
So I think it would be a great idea if you make some of the your paintings to see our audience.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, sure.
because
Just-
I don't want to miss that opportunity. I was not in Japan, and many people were not there. So I think through this fireside chat, a lot of people will see that.
Yeah, sure. I'll just share my screen with you. Just give me a minute. Is it visible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's visible.
Yeah. So all the works which are I'm showing it, they are done in Japan. They are all recent works.
So it's a place somewhere in Japan.
Yeah, it's an Osaka castle. Like it is very
Oh.
near, and I guess Osaka castle is a landmark of Osaka.
Wow.
So,
It was a pencil paint.
yeah,
Sketch.
it's a ink on paper.
Oh wow, it's very beautiful actually.
Thank you. So I whenever traveling, when I find something interesting, I used to click a picture and then try to paint it.
So
All
this
these
is a very typical scene in trains in Japan. So you see a family, you see them really exhausted. They are trying to rest and sleep. But yeah, that is how. And the baby the baby was crying.
no,
It was he was sleeping.
I guess they must have returned from some trip.
Yeah.
So this was when we had been to Nara. Yeah, somewhere I
Temple.
guess. Yeah, some temples. So this was the painting which I told you. Like every time she used to open the shutter and used to start working. So this is Sakura when we experienced our first Sakura season. So rain and the weather is very what do you say? Strange. Yeah, you Delhi have to see the forecast before stepping out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will get wet. So this is Dotonbori. It's very famous place in Osaka, Namba. Okay, Sakura. So these kind of cute statues, Buddha statues, you will find everywhere. And actually, this the lotus pond, we actually saw it in Osaka. A big park was there where we had been. You will came across many old people here, literally. More than young crowd, you will see old guys. This is also Tompozin wheel, which is one of the landmark of Osaka. You can see it.
She is a classmate.
Yeah, she was my classmate. She was Vietnamese.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this was at Buddha statue at Todai temple.
Place
Nara.
called Nara.
He was a part-timer with us, a very old person.
So he is more than 65 or years old, and he had energy more than us. So
yeah.
Wow.
we could literally see him bending, walking, running. which we were ashamed of in initial days, but then we also tried to give our best.
So this is Osaka Castle again. We are two. So this was a painting which I had exhibited in Tokyo in exhibition.
Wow, it's really very beautiful.
Thank you. So this was that exhibition place in Tokyo. It was in Shibuya.
Yeah, this is how it looked.
This is how they had presented it. This was a very amazing experience. I had been to a art shop. It was very, very huge. I was super happy than anything.
Yeah, in fact, it happens. I must say, if you are an artist, a painter, if you see colors and brushes, then definitely you will be more than happy. Like,
more than happy.
It's like you got the world to paint.
Yeah. Yes. So he is my dad. So yeah, this is a small showcase of my artworks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
you, Priyanka, for showing us this wonderful paintings of yours. And I really hope and wish that you will be able to exhibit in lot of exhibitions in Japan and in India as well.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so one thing more before I close down the interview in some minutes. You completed your studies, I guess, or it's coming to an end. So you must be searching for the job. How difficult it is to search a job over there? Means you already explained a lot, but now coming to you working in an MNC in India, so that sort of job in Japan, how difficult it is?
Yeah. So I think, a person who has already some kind of experience in India, he has to look for a mid-career jobs, a job in Japan. So in Japan, typically there are two kinds of job. One is for freshers and one is for experienced people. So anybody who is looking into the experienced people jobs, there is a lot of fierce competition here. So that brings again to my previous comment that if one is looking for a job, a mid-career job, then one actually needs to have a look at what kind of opportunities are there as a mid-career applicant. So that is very important because there have been incidences that even though one has a very relevant experience, there are rejections from the companies stating that your experience is not being counted. So this is somehow strange, but then that is how it is. That is what has happened to me also. So one really has to have a look at kind of the mid-career opportunities which are existent in Japan. So that is about the mid-career thing. Coming to the fresh graduates scenario, it is much easier and it's much relaxed. So it's like typically the companies want you to come in as a fresher and they would be training you to whatever orientation they want you to go through, and they would be deciding what department they want you to be working on. So it's like they would be deciding, and that becomes very easy for a fresher who is just maybe fresh out of college and who wants to build a career in Japan. So for them, there are a lot of opportunities. I also agree. But for the mid-career entries, it is actually a little difficult. So if somebody is already doing a job in Japan, so I think the best way would be to come through that company itself in Japan. So that thing, I think that is the best way to come as an expat. But if one is coming here after quitting his or her job like what we did, then I think the doors to the mid-career jobs are very less. And even though there are doors, then maybe their expectations are very high. Maybe they would require N1 level, which is native level Japanese level, and again they would require a lot of software skills as well. So there is a fierce competition there. But then if you are a fresher, then it's very decent, or maybe a little easier than what we would expect for an experienced guy. Yeah.
And one thing more I would like to know, that being so much experienced one, having a good knowledge in your own field, and then you get the rejection, and not once, twice, or thrice, many times, how you cope up with that sort of rejection? Because it led to you a spot of depression. It happens. So how you cope up with that?
Yeah. So before that, I would also like to add that Priyanka has got a job in Osaka. So
wow,
maybe
congratulations.
maybe she will explain her experience, and then maybe I'll get to your question.
Sure.
Okay, so when we started this job hunting, it was very scary for me, because you have to go all formals and all. And being me as an artist, I never went into this processes, like explaining my good points. I never did that. And first thing, you have to wear all formals, and you have to be like tell your all good things, which we never did. I guess in India we never did.
Because that is how artists are. I mean,
yeah, we never tell our, like, what are our plus points, what are negative points. It was very strange for me. Then second thing, the process in Japan of getting recruited is like they have number of interviews. Like they will have your 3-4 interviews, then some written test and all. I was so scared, I didn't do anything. I literally said I can't do this. So I just went through LinkedIn and searched what are the type of companies where I can work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I was like ready to go back to India. Like, this is not my place, man. So yeah, I found one company, and God's grace, it was like the boss is also very nice. He was very open-minded. He asked me for internship. So we actually, that thing gave me opportunity to understand what company it was, what they want exactly from my side, and even company got to understand like what is I am capable of. So I think that approach is something which this whole Japanese recruiting system should change. Like they should adapt something like this, not just on paper. Like there is a very maybe the rigid kind of process, that is you have to create your resume, and that to a very typical format. That there is one Japanese format of resume where you have to fill it on like in the way you they want, not the way we want to present ourselves. So the way where we put ourselves, like we have certain skills and certain like plus points which we put in our resume in our own way. But in Japanese thing, it is like they want the resume to be a very in a particular rigid format, and where we can't express ourselves actually. So, and they are deciding it on a just one piece of paper, the like person's whole life. So I think it is a very, very wrong thing. But for my case, it was a very different experience. This company, the boss and the whole team actually is very versatile. It's a e-commerce company. It's a clothing and support tool. They produce like all the accessories required for clothing, and mine is a digital marketing thing. So maybe I would need to create some graphic illustrations, some layout, some catalogs, and such kind of work. But yes, I got an escape from all this Japanese recruiting process. So I am very happy.
Yeah. So yeah, so Priyanka's boss, I have actually had a conversation with him. So he's a very nice person by nature, and he is not that very rigid and typical kind of person. So he's very accommodating. He understands the foreigners. So Priyanka's team fortunately has foreigners,
Yeah,
Vietnam,
we have
US.
one American, one Vietnamese, one Chinese, and now me. So
Yeah,
it's like a versatile
cross
team.
cultural. Yeah,
So I'm very happy.
yeah.
So, I'm sure, and I wish that both of you, whatever you want to do in your career, you'll get the chance to do that.
Yeah,
So all
yeah,
the best for that.
yeah. So
And yeah,
coming to your previous question, that how to handle rejections and all, yeah.
yeah,
So if I am to count now, maybe I have been applying to more than 60-70 companies, and all are rejections. Only 3 or 4 could progress maybe to the first
Interview
assignment and 2
level.
interviews, but unfortunately they were also not very fruitful. So what I want to express here is that in situations like this, whatever, howsoever bad situation is there, there would always be 1 or 2 person who would be, kind of your masiha, or, kind of who would be there to help you. This thing will happen to you every time. So be in any bad situation, there will be at least 1 person who is willing to support you or help you. So you just need to find that person. Okay, so that is step number 1, and you need to kind of match to their trust on you. So we have 1 person, Mr. Abhishek, who is very, truth, who believes in me very much. So yeah, so I'm in constant touch with him and trying to explore any opportunity to work with him. So that is one thing. So, and the second thing is that if there is a rejection, one needs to actually see it as a point of recorrection. So it is an opportunity to recorrect your path. So if it is occurring n number of times, then it is a clear indication that something needs to be changed, be it anything, be it your personal life or be it your professional life. So I think one has to see his or her personal goals, professional goals, career growth, those kind of things, and choose whatever is based in the current situation. So one has to be hopeful, but then you should limit your hopes also. So it's like, okay, आज तो करना है, maybe कल होगा, but वो कल कब तक का कल? It's like, you have to limit that hope also. You have to be practical also. So it's like balancing your hopes, balancing your aspirations, plus your having a control of your today. So I think this balance, plus being able to be with people who believe in you, who trust you, would help anybody to overcome any difficulty. So I think this has helped us. This is helping us, and maybe in future also this would help us.
I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people, this whatever you have told, because in today's generation we can find a lot of people are in depression, because not only because of relationship but because of their professional aspect also.
Yeah.
So it's very useful to let the people know about this, that you are in such a rejection mode as of now, but you are not losing your hope actually, because hope is really something which everyone should have. If you don't have hope, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah. And the other thing is that there would always be diversions. There would always be roads wherein you would be asked to, okay, why don't you see a job in some other area? Because if you are not getting here, then why don't you see here? So I think that is always a personal choice. For me, it would not be a very meaningful action, because that is something which I've always pursued since my engineering till now, and maybe doing something very different just to survive in the territory of Japan would not be a very awarding thing to do for my own inner self. So I think this priority also needs to be set out by everyone. So if somebody is kind of in the mood of taking a U-turn or maybe taking a different direction to his or her, then maybe he can look for options which are available to him or her. But then if somebody is really keen on kind of, okay, this is my interest because this gives me professional satisfaction, this is a source of happiness for me, and if that thing is not visible to you in the manner you want it to be, not extravagantly, but then the bare minimum things are also not there for you to make things happen, then maybe Japan is not the only country.
I'm sure, and I can totally relate to this because it happens in life that you dream of doing something, but at the same time you actually achieve that also, but somehow you feel that okay, this is not my place. I have to, or I should move on to achieve something really different from now on. So it's better to it's very important to accept actually.
Yeah.
Because if you accept, then you can literally move on from that thing, from that spot, and to achieve something you have to move.
Yes.
Because the only thing that we can do at our end is to study and to crack the exam. So that I think we are the only few people in our entire institute to clear L2 in this short span of 1 year, 2 months. So I think from the academic point of view, we have given our best and we have the results of what we have done. But for the things which we don't have control on, I don't think we can do for anything for that. So it's like maybe the culture or maybe the external things are kind of causing a barrier. But whatever we could do from our end, we have always tried to give our best. So one needs to understand this also. So somehow people think that okay, no, yeah, it's my fault, or it's something in me that is causing a barrier. But it may not be the case. So I think this message also needs to go to the people who are listening to this.
Yes, because of this rejection sometimes happen that people start judging themselves or start criticizing themselves that I'm not good enough. So it should not be happen because some of the things is literally not in your control.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for explaining all these things, and I'm sure that a lot of people will get a clear picture, not only for Japan, but to some other foreign countries as well, and how to cope up with that rejections or the depression they get into after that.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that.
Thank you so much.
This is a very important point actually which you asked and you discussed.
Yeah.
And apart from that, anything else you want to change, you would like to change in Japanese people and also at the same time in Indians as well?
Okay. So for Indians, I could say that there is a lot of learning which can be carried from the perspective of punctuality, from the perspective of cleanliness, the kind of cleanliness we have here. It's amazing. So it's like if you go anywhere, you will have clean toilets and clean washrooms, or and you would not find things lying here and there. They're all sorted, organized, classified, and people, if you see people also, they carry themselves with a lot of grace, and kind of they are well dressed, their shoes, their clothes, everything. So if you look at their shoes also, you will think, okay, abhi kharid ke laya, it's like it's just new or what. So that is the kind of thing that India can learn more. Maybe India is always.
I think sometimes it happens in India. People get confused between the between fashion and self grooming.
Yeah.
Exactly. So self grooming is something different and fashion is something different, because in my surrounding, if I carry myself in a good way, then people are like, oh, you are so fashionable. So come on, this is not something like fashion, but it's a self grooming. So I think Japanese people know this very well.
Exactly. Yeah. And other things could be, I think the type
Public
of convenience,
transport,
the type
yeah.
of convenience, including the public transport. So from convenience, I mean, it's like you have a lot of vending machines here. So vending machines are like you put in a coin and you buy something from that machine. There is no person there, but it's a machine from which you buy something. So if you need a coffee, if you need water, if you need something on the go, you're walking, it's raining, anything, you just have to approach a vending machine, you put in a coin and then you get your coffee or something like that. So this is very convenient. You have a lot of convenient stores here, which have things, everything which you would be needing for a daily life, like something to eat, or maybe a laundry detergent, bathing soap, or something like that. So some of them are open 24 hours, so you don't have to worry about. And the type of connectivity through public transport.
And all.
So we didn't have any issues going to any place or any clinic or any hospital, because all are situated very close to the metro stations or train stations. So you just have to go to the station, and just walking distance you will find what you are looking for. So all these things are very conveniently sorted, I think, here. So,
even if you go to any government office to get your things done
very
India,
efficiently,
like,
very quickly.
In India, it is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would take years.
आज तो नहीं होगा.
Exactly.
10 दिन लगेंगे शायद.
Exactly.
But here it will be like, you go there, you just have to tell them कि this is my task. They will do it, and you will just have to wait and watch, do some sign and all. But that's it. So it's very easy.
Yeah.
So anything you would like to change in Japanese people, because everyone is having pros and cons in themselves.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
in Japanese, I think like the way we are learning Japanese, maybe like they could also come one step ahead, like maybe learning some English or some global language, which will be helpful for foreigners to come and accommodate here.
Mhm.
Maybe a little foreign friendly things which can be introduced by Japanese.
Mhm.
So that will be a very, very big help. Like this Japanese thing becomes a very big challenge when it comes to while healthcare. Like other things can be managed easily, but when you are sick and you want to tell like what you are feeling, then that becomes a very difficult thing, because what the things we the vocabulary which we use as an Indian or as a foreigner for a particular thing, and that we try to explain it in Japanese, and the doctor doesn't understand, then there is a very, very big mess, and it can be a fatal. So,
For example, there is no direct translation to the Marathi sentence "kasa tari hota hai." So there is no direct translation, and the doctor will get confused, and maybe he'll end up giving you something which you don't require. Yeah, so these things are, I think this is not limited to Japan, it's more of other countries issue also. But yeah, I think specifically for Japan, maybe the society as a whole could be a little more accommodating to the people like us, to the people who are coming from different countries, and kind of help them in a manner that they would deserve. So I think that is something that I think Japan is working on it. Definitely, it is. It has this thing in its agenda, and the more the time passes, maybe we hope to see more positive changes. And yeah, that should make it.
I'm sure, and there should be some changes required, and not only with Japan or India, but for better friendly or diplomatic relationship, because only speech will not help.
Yeah.
I mean, some working also required in that direction.
Yeah.
So thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Rohan, for your time, telling us your story. It was very inspiring. A lot of things were there to learn from you guys. And people who is watching this interview or going to watch in future, then definitely they will understand what they required to go to Japan and how they can survive and what they need to learn or expect from a country like Japan. So thank you very much for being with me.
Thank you
thank you
so
so
much,
much.
Shaifali.
Thank you so much
It
for
was
your
very
time.
fun to have discussion with
Yeah.
you. We recollected all our memories.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rohan and Priyanka, I wish and also IJBC wish you all the very best for your future endeavors and would like to see your dreams coming true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was Rohan and Priyanka, a young talented couple who was not only realized their dream, but also chasing it with full dedication and living their full entire life. Before I say goodbye and until for the next time, I promise to bring such inspiring stories to you all. So don't forget to visit our website www.ijbc.org for upcoming sessions of Fireside Chat and other events. Also don't forget to subscribe our official IJBC YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Stay healthy and goodbye till the next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.